Hello, mamas. Let's talk about preschool math. What are the key skills you can begin teaching your preschooler? And what are a few simple games that you can play with your child again and again to help them master these skills? Games that don't require a bunch of prep, games that you can do with them right alongside their playtime, okay? So first I want to say that preschool math is basically numbers, colors, and shapes, just to be as basic as possible. And we know that shapes and colors usually come pretty quickly. So today I'm just going to focus on number skills you can work on with your preschooler, okay? So these number skills are counting, count to 10, then to 20, then to 50, then to 100 by the end of kindergarten. They can recognize numerals 1 through 10. They can show the numbers with objects. They can compare numbers, greater than or less than, or groups of objects. They can add groups of objects. And you can also teach them to order numbers 1 through 5 and then 1 through 10. Okay? Now, here's some games you can use to practice these skills. These games will require only 2 basic things. You're going to need some numeral flashcards. Go ahead and make them with index cards for 1 through 10, but you might just start with 1 through 3 and build up. You'll probably spend a lot of time in 1 through 5. Then you can get a large dice with large, easy to read numerals. I'm going to go ahead and say too that a great part of your routine, especially if you don't have time for a game, is just making a commitment to 3 to 5 days a week using some kind of counting book where your child can see the numeral, count, and practice their numbers in a simple, quick way. The first game I'm going to show you is with the dice, but you could also use cards for this game. Have the child pretend that this is a quarter machine. Put their favorite toys like Hot Wheels or other small objects they like. Then you're going to have the child put their quarter in, roll the dice, name the number. Remember, give them as much help as they need. At this age, it should be fast, fun, and easy, and they will absorb and move on quickly. So then they're going to show the number. Have them line the bears up in a straight line so they can learn how to make counting efficient and accurate by making things in easy to count lines. Okay, so they're going to count out their bears using 1-to-1 correspondence with your help as needed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it will be your turn to put the quarter in, roll your dice, model how to count out 2 bears. 1, 2. That was 3 skills right there. They had to recognize, they had to show, and they had to use 1-to-1 correspondence. So 2 main skills, recognizing numerals and showing numerals, okay? Then you could add on comparing numerals. You could have them tell you again, how many bears do you have? 5 bears. How many bears do I have? 2 bears. Who has more bears? I have more bears. You're right. 5 is greater than 2. You can show a big muscle for greater than and say it with a louder voice. 5 is greater than 2. 2 is less than 5. And you could do another skill as when they're ready. You could simply show them that you both have 1, you both have 2, but look, you have 3 more. With the cards, it's fun because they can roll them back and forth to show that the 3 extras stand out. Then you could do an additional skill. You could add your bears together. I would like to give you my 2 bears. How many bears do you have now? Teach your child, when you're counting a group of objects that isn't organized, to slide them into a new group to make it easier to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5? Your 5 and my 2 make 7. 5 plus 2 equals 7. And of course, you can lead your child and model for them or encourage more participation as they're ready. All right, so that's the quarter machine game. And my son loved that game. He played that a lot and got a lot out of that. The other games are involving cards. There are a lot of things you can do with cards. You can simply use them as flashcards to practice naming the numerals, or you can have them make a group of objects for each card. So again, you just need some little objects. 1 for the 1 card, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. You could do the same thing with any objects or even on paper by writing the numerals in a notebook or on a piece of paper. Draw lines for columns between each number and have the child place stickers to match each numeral. Maybe they could do a paint dot or a marker dot or some type of art to match or place objects. You could also get more inventive with the cards. You could simply pretend that each card is a table at a restaurant. You could pretend that the bear is coming to order. So for table 1, there's one bear and he's ordering one pizza. Have your child take a little Play-Doh ball, press down to make a little pizza for him. So table 2, they could place 2 bears, or you could place your 2 bears and have them order 2 pizzas and have your child make a pizza for each bear. And you could repeat that for each card. If it's overwhelming for your child to see all the cards at once, you could just pull out a random card to play that game. You could also pretend that your cards are money. So you could come to your child's store or they could come to yours and you could pretend to buy things with these cards. So if your child were the storekeeper, you would give your child the cards and your child would come and say, I want to buy whatever object it is, and you could tell them how much it costs. That'll be $2, and so they would find the 2 card, okay? If you want to have your child say, I want to buy 2 bears, they could continue to really do a direct quantity to numeral relationship and pull out the 2 card to buy 2 bears or the 3 card to buy 3 bears, or just buy any toys that they have around, and each toy could have a different price. One thing I want to add is that before you do any games with the cards, you could go ahead and plan to play order numbers. That's where when you have your deck of cards, you could have them first name all the cards if you want. That would be a good way to start any card game. So you just go through and have them name the cards or name them for the child. And the second thing you could do before starting any card game is practicing their ordering number skills. At first, you'll just order them for them. Let's put the cards in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And eventually, they could do it. Before you start the card game, you could also play a game where they close their eyes. You flip a card over or remove it, and they have to tell you which card is flipped or removed. Okay? So those are good ways to build in ordering numbers and recognizing numbers before you begin playing the game that mostly focuses on showing a quantity that matches the numeral. That's really the main skills, though. It's showing a quantity or an amount that matches each numeral. That's huge at this age. And then simply being able to count. So let's review. If every day you just play one of these games with your child, you'll be on the right track. If every day you count with your child just rotely to 10 and then eventually to 20, then to 50, then to 100, and then play one of these games, then that would be my recommendation. Make sure every day they're counting and then playing one of these games. If you don't have time for a game or even counting, just simply getting one of your number counting books out and reading that before a nap or at a different time of the day is just a great way to kind of just know in your mind each day that you did some kind of math, okay? And it's going to go a long way. In fact, by the time your child is 4.5 or 5, maybe the semester or 2 semesters even before kindergarten, you might find that, wow, they might even be ready to start some kindergarten math. And if not, then that's okay too. But you'll see that just doing these things, counting with them every day and playing these games that reinforce those key skills and maybe reading some number books with them is going to go a long way. And don't forget that it doesn't have to even be a game. You could be playing with your child, especially in the beginning. Maybe some of these games would be too hard for them when they're like 2 years old, or you just want to, hey, we're outside. Oh, I see you collected some rocks. How many do you have? And just touch each one and model how to count those. Maybe you're in the bathtub and counting a few bathtub toys. Just start small and simple. Just while they're playing with their toys, come alongside and start playing with them and making the characters do some counting. All right, so have fun with it and just Take little steps at a time, and your child will just begin to absorb and to grow into it. If you notice your child is kind of resistant, just back off a little bit or provide more support to keep it fast, fun, and easy. All right, I hope you have fun doing some math with your preschoolers this week.